Today is the 1st of July and we're going to have a breakfast. We are going to have breakfast at La Pizza. And what we have here is good big space. We have wine and all the riders are here. And these guys, good morning. I thought we were going to have a pizza, but you guys are eating the.
No. The restaurant name is Piazza.
Okay, what we have here is. It's not pizza. Restaurant name is pizza, but we are serving all the local food as well as Western food. They have pizza here. Okay, croissants. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
We all having.
Ready to ride, huh?
Huh? Ready? No, they say I must shift the bike afterward.
Yeah. To upstairs, right? To upstairs.
So one shot come there, finish this up. Good morning. Good morning, guys. Where's my buddy? Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Early bird catch the prey, right? Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Almost finished, right? Morning. And today is the day 2 and we are assembling the bike here, and then we are going to go for our first aid training. All the bikes are being parked and everybody are going for the first aid training.
You should be able to take stock of your own injury as well as you should be able to take stock of somebody else's. This is what he's going to teach.
Good morning.
Okay, these are very, very essential life skills.
Brian, your FoodieAdventurerRider.
He's basically called life skills.
Today we are having the first aid training introduction.
He told me once, and you can never tell anybody else this. But that's
This gentleman is the one
and it's
doing the
kind
trick.
of sadistic. So, Tarun says the greatest achievement for somebody is to save for a lifesaver is to save a life. Now he has administered many real life situations and all that, but like saving somebody's life is something that he is just preparing himself to do for the last 8-10 years, and he is very prepared. He is part of RLSS, Rashtriya Life Saving Society. Okay, so people will keep on coming, and I'll hand over the proceedings to Tarun. Okay, I'll be sitting back and I'll be encouraging all of you to participate in the small exercises here. We actually have a lot of fun with it.
Thank you, Archit. Namaste, Vanakkam, and good morning once again. Good morning, happy morning. I'm happy to be here. We're all happy to be here. So I'm going to stick to my time schedule. We're starting on time. We will finish on time. 1 sharp. They want me to finish. I'm not going to stand between you and lunch. Hope you all had a good breakfast. Yes, I'll be speaking in English because I'm not very fluent in Hindi. I speak a lot of Tamil, but most of you might not understand Tamil, so we'll stick to English. I hope that's fine. Yes. Let's make this as interactive as possible. Yeah, it's a knowledge sharing session. 60% or 70% of today's workshop aims to be practical. I'll call for volunteers, like Archit said, please come up quickly. So what are the protocols that we're going to focus on? Before that, we start all our workshop with the silent prayer. So just close your eyes wherever you are. You can be seated. Just pray for a moment. pray that we be safe always, and we pray especially for those who are not here with us today, for their families to cope with their loss, be it an accident on road, water or fire. Let's also take a moment to pray for our brothers and sisters fighting the war. They really don't deserve this. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I love using a lot of abbreviations, and that way we'll remember easily and not forget that quickly. Okay, so can any of you abbreviate the word ICE? ICE, a very common word.
In case of emergency.
Perfect, perfect. One of my favorite acronyms, abbreviation. In case of emergency, for those of you who didn't know it. Now that some of you knew it, next question is, how many of you have an ICE contact in your phone? One or contacts plural. Some of you can see a show of hands. Okay, for those of you who said yes, may I ask whose number is it? If I may ask, can you may tell whose number have you saved as an ICE contact? Father, wife, parent, super. ICE contacts help save lives because most of us use smartphones, and smartphones are supposed to make us smarter, and in the process can help save a life. In an emergency, not a basic accident, not a basic injury, responsible person. Preferably someone who's a major above 18 years. Family, yes, people who are related by blood, you're married, your spouse. So ICE contact should be vice versa. Communication should be mutual. If it's family, you really don't need to take permission, but you need to let them know that they are an ICE contact in your phone. Why? Because a few times when we have called these ICE contacts, they really rush here because they might not be here by the time you come. The ambulance is on its way. They say they're going to so-and-so hospital. Don't panic because we don't want them having another accident coming, riding or driving fast. Please go to the hospital and do the needful. As simple as that. Yeah. Preferably mobile numbers, still people use landlines, but just in a mobile number, even if it's switched off, you will get a notification that someone tried your number. Yeah. And yes, a minimum of 2 to 3 contacts helps. When people have no network, if the phone is switched off, we can go for. So at this moment, kindly take out your phones and add the word ICE to any one contact, please. Either in the first name or the last name. It's not a new contact. Kindly edit it. Please do it now. If I request you to do it during lunch or your room, some of us are members of STM and right short-term memory loss, it doesn't happen. Practice and manage to touch someone else's phone without their permission. So when you press the home lock, I use an iPhone, so I'll show it to you in this, but let me tell you, all Android phones or whichever brand, everything has a way around it. Yeah, just that the settings will be a little up and down here and there. So there's a keypad here, you don't know my code, but fingerprint, if they are unconscious, we say it implied consent. Otherwise, it's not good to use it. But what if that finger was badly damaged, bruised, cut, with blood, and it might not just work. So what do? So then I get calls. Okay, so we go here, and then here there's an emergency option here. But the emergency option is once again one step less than accessing the medical ID in the iPhone. But I'll tell you, this is where you reach the keypad where you can call 100 for police, which you all know. And what's the fire engine number?
10.
101. 100 plus 101.
102 is ambulance.
I'm so sorry. I thought I put it silent. I'm sorry. 102 is the old ambulance number, but I think it however still works. You can stick to 10, which is the new ambulance number pan India. 108. Yeah, perfect. We're not going into private numbers. 108 works. Just coming back. I'm sorry. I unlocked. No, I'm not going to unlock. Use another finger. We go to emergency. So we like 100, 101, 102 based on 103 is generally traffic police. And someone said 104. 104 is more of a medical consultation. Say if you've been having stomach pain for a long time, you can call and tell if you have COVID symptoms, they would guide you. They'd ask you to take these precautionary medicines. If it doesn't help, they'll ask you to do a blood test and then come to the hospital. And they might say it might be jaundice, TB or whatever, and appropriately guide you. Cool. Now how do I access these ICE contacts? There's something called the medical ID that you have to preset. Okay. So it doesn't get set automatically during an accident. When we are cool, calm and relaxed, that's when we do it. The medical ID is Tarun Murgay, 2nd August 1989, 32 years, organ donor. It's voluntary, you can change this anytime with a photo. Medical conditions, if I have any not applicable. Medical notes, if I have any, like prone to fits, a cardiac arrest survivor, yeah. So allergies. Next is allergies and reactions. Luckily, I don't have, so like, put in a fun way, I just put allergic to corruption and bullshit and fake people.
Could you, could you just start from the beginning, how you got it?
I'm I'm just saying this for the iPhone particularly. It's a medical ID, but in a Vivo or a Samsung or an Oppo or any phone, Realme, Redmi, you can easily download the ICE app, which is available both in like the Google Play Store and the App Store. Yeah, and you can set these settings which anyone can access, even if your phone is locked. And no one's really going to misuse this information. It's just crucial information that normally other people would wear on a dog tag or an emergency bracelet and so on and so forth. Yeah. So the phone is everything now, right? Even if we don't carry our wallet, we just carry our phone. So I mean, this is very essential that we do it. So coming back to my medical ID page, medications, if you have any, you can put them here. Mine is raw mango, honey, and lemon soda. Blood type is O positive. You all should know your blood group, and I'm sure you do because you put it on your helmets, just like how the different people have it in their name tag on their shoulder. It's good to know. Only when you know your blood group will you know whether it's rare or common. Yeah? Weight, height, whatever it is, you enter it exactly. And everything CPR, for those of you who know CPR. Cardio is for your heart, pulmonary is for your lungs, and resuscitation is artificial respiration, mouth to mouth. Perfect. But the WHO protocol says that we have stopped doing mouth to mouth, just do the chest compression. I don't know if he or she is COVID positive, so most of you might not use a proper face barrier. Just forget the mouth to mouth and do the compression. But I'll teach you how to do it. Yeah, but then it's a choice of yours whether to use a temporary mask, a reusable mask, or kerchief, as a face mask. Because when you, by mistake, if you exchange saliva, it's infection. Yeah, vice versa, from you to them and the victim to you. Or when you do only chest compression, it's zero infection. Only chest compression would be 90% effective CPR. With mouth, drowning victims definitely need mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. They call this 2 initial rescue breaths. Okay, no worries. Steps of CPR. Like another abbreviation? The easy way to remember CPR. It's generally DRABC. D. Doctor ABCD. The first 4 letters of the alphabet, Doctor ABCD. Can any of you abbreviate what the first D could stand for? D. D for? Diaphragm. Okay.
Darling?
Sorry?
Darling?
Darling?
Yeah.
Darling, but no. Danger. What's danger in Hindi? Yeah, perfect. Danger. So danger along the accident site. You always need to remove the danger. Yeah, danger on you. So on the road, what is danger? Stone, gravel, water, oil, speed breakers, open manholes, animals, people crossing everywhere other than the speed breaker, the zebra crossing, etc., etc. Speed breakers with no painting. All these are dangers, right? So road is a very dangerous place. The safest could be in a pedestrian walkway or a footpath. Anyways, we clear the danger. On me, no danger. Danger of infection, I would overcome by wearing gloves. Yeah, it's always good practice. So for you bikers, anyway you're already wearing gloves, you can keep them on. You don't have to remove it and wear another pair of gloves. Okay? So, yeah. R for? R for response here. Okay, I'm going to abbreviate first so you can remember easily and then, okay. DRABC, D for danger, R for response, A for airway, B for breathing, and C for circulation and compression. Clear, guys? And the last D I said starts with D and ends with D is defibrillation. I'm not sure if the gun wagon they've picked up a defibrillator, or if the ambulance is coming. I don't know if that has a defibrillator. But yeah, not all ambulances have a defibrillator. Not all small medical centers have a defibrillator. Once again, that's because you need to be trained how to use it. It's an expensive piece of equipment. Your airports have it at every juncture. Every flight has a defibrillator. I'm sure this hotel has a minimum of 1 defibrillator. Considering the size and the amount of room, they would have like 2 to 3 defibrillators in different towers. And most of the security team and people from various departments would be trained how to use it. A defibrillator generates an amount of shock that can help revive a stopped heart. But when you don't have that, you can use your mouth hands to save a life. Many times to do first aid, all you need is common sense and presence of mind. Okay? Okay. So D for danger, R for response. All of you repeat after me. D for danger, R for response, A for airway, B for breathing, and C for compression. Circulation starts. Okay. So we'll choose a road accident victim not wearing helmet, maybe a pillion who fell back, suffered a cardiac arrest. When do we do CPR? Someone whose heart stopped working, who's not breathing. So heart attack, cardiac arrest, 2 different words. Are they one and the same or they're different? They're actually different. So what is the difference? Who comes first?
attack?
Heart attack. Heart attack means the heart is still beating but not effectively and normally. The person can still be gasping for breath, and you don't expect them to finish the last leg of the ride or the marathon and so on, because it would lead to a cardiac arrest. Yeah, so this is a normal beating heart. A heart attack would mean irregular, irrhythmic heartbeat. It could be 2-3 beats, it could skip a beat, so on and so forth. A cardiac arrest means complete stoppage of heart. Clear? So when someone's experiencing a heart attack, make them in a cool, calm place, make them calm, relaxed, loosen clothing, do not make them sleep. If you're all alone, how do you help yourself? What do we do? So when you sleep, a lowered heart rate, a low beating heart can stop easily. To keep the rhythm, what do people ask you to do? Keep coughing. Keep coughing till someone comes to your rescue or till the ambulance comes. We've had people in the beach from my city where I come have done this because they didn't know what proper CPR was, but that also helped. But when you do this, it pains. When you do this, it doesn't. But it's the same thing. It's pumping your heart to push the blood to the brain, because our brain needs oxygen and the blood's carrying it. Clear, people?
Sir, how do we know that the person who fell from the ride actually got a cardiac?
So we check, simple signs of breathing, sir. So normally for a heartbeat, you want to place your hand over the chest, but if it's a lady, it's not right. So just look. You just look for chest rise. Okay, even simple, we do a breathing check. I'll come to that. Once we've cleared the data, you check for response as well. Someone whose heart has stopped, there will be zero response. How do we check for response? 3 types of response check. We tap on the shoulder. We never touch someone's face, male or female victim. It's private and it's very sensitive. You tap on the shoulder. Hello, sir. Sir, can you talk? Sir, what's your name? Not able to talk. If you local language, whichever language, anything, sir. Face on the victim not able to talk. Second, you tap again. Hello, sir. Sir, can you blink your eyes? No. Second type of response check, negative. Third type of response check, tap on the shoulder, on one of the shoulder blades, and hold the hand and squeeze and ask them to squeeze back. It's a lady, I can hold ma'am. Ma'am, can you hold my hand? Ma'am, can you, because they don't have a name tag, no identification, so no I can't. Ma'am, or you could also lift the hand and it will drop down, there's no response. All this indicates. So after airway, you open the airway and check. Many times when you clear the airway itself, they might resume shallow breathing, especially for drowning victims or even for a road accident victim, because of the impact of not wearing a helmet. Okay, you know that you can choke on your own blood and vomit and die. Some of the rides that we did many years back when I was doing it frequently, TOB, TON, TOUK, that's Tour of Uttarakhand, Bhutan, Nepal, TOR, Tour of Rajasthan, so on. Apparently, one of the riders, in one of the private rides and the smaller ride, did what I taught them, that is putting a victim into recovery position, and didn't have to do CPR, but he just cleared the victim's tongue out and cleared the excess of blood and vomit. And at least the victim was breathing, shallow breathing, till the ambulance came. Yeah, because when you're on your back, unless and until you're conscious, not really going to spit out the blood or vomit. Yeah, and if it flows into your stomach, yes, it's dangerous, not okay. But if it flows into your lungs, no, there should be only air inside your lungs. It could lead to asphyxiation. It could either be water, salt water, vomit or blood. Anything inside your lungs is dangerous. Yeah? Anyways. Okay. So we check for airway. Now my airway is blocked. Okay. So if it's solid item, thumb and index finger, try to remove, clear. If you're wearing a helmet, your visor could crack, the fiber, right? It's fiberglass. That could crack and you can remove those pieces. And it could possibly cut your tongue as well. Remove, clear. Why get an outside item going in? Due to impact, most of them, the non-serious riders, wear a half-face helmet, right? So impact on the handlebar or the ground could mean your tooth breaking and choking. 2-3 tooth can block your airway. Remove, clear. All solid particles clear. What if it's liquid? The mouth is like a small cup, only the excess flows out. How do we clear the liquid out? Like, can we put a spoon or a straw and take it out? No. Thanks. How do we do? Yeah, support the neck, support the hip, tilt the victim to one side. So it's very difficult on table, but I will do it on the ground again, just for the benefit of people sitting in the back. Okay. You never drag the victim here, smooth carpets or on the road, rough, uneven surface. Put a finger in, you're wearing gloves, clear the airway. In the same position, we check for breathing. How do we check for breathing? Look, listen and feel, all in one stroke. You look for breathing. Can I see the chest rise? No. Can I hear for breathing? No. Can I feel for breathing? Sadly, no. The victim is not breathing. We come back, we move back, and now we start compression. All of you, question time. Which position is your heart? Your center, your left, or your right?
Left side center.
That's the right way to say it. The heart is in the center left or left center. Center tilted to the left. So where do we compress? Left, right, stomach, no, always in the center, right? Never, never, never remove clothing for a victim. I'm saying something and I'm doing the exact opposite. Only because this is a dummy and I want to show you the right position. Yeah? Always single layer of clothing should be on the victim's body. Only for an infant below 1 year you're allowed to remove clothing if at all necessary. Yeah? Like if you're wearing multiple layers like a riding jacket and all, that can be removed, but single layer of clothing is a must. You don't have to remove clothing for CPR. But when you give a defib shock, they have to be bare chest. Okay? Okay. So all of you, let's do one small activity. All of you, can you please place your chin to your chest and look down and breathe in and breathe out with your mouth. 1, 2. Can we do the same looking up at the ceiling? 1, 2. Which is easy, while looking down or while looking up?
Down.
Perfect. Airway no, down, no, up. Because airway normal position, airway closed, airway open. When you open the airway and pinch the nose and blow into the mouth, all the air goes into the lungs. Effective lung inflation. Watch. Pinch the nose, tilt the head. When we tilt the head, we use a pistol grip. And so use the kerchief cloth. Single layer, air passes. Yeah, single, double, but not multiple, 3, 4 layers. Watch. 1. Okay. Normally the chest will rise, but thanks to being fragile and still the check-in baggage, they punctured my air pouch.
We bikers having the pump, arterial pump. So why must you blow?
No, you don't do that. No, don't that. Whether you give them out breath, otherwise just don't do anything with the mouth, just go for the compression. Yeah, that was quick thinking, but no, that will go wrong. Severely wrong. We don't want to over-inflate the lung. We won't have the controls. After 2 breaths, friends, we never do a head tilt for a person with a head neck back injury. And I'll tell you how a victim of a head neck back injury would be on the ground, with the head in one position, hand in one position, and so on. So then we do something known as a jaw thrust. You simply like to hold and bring the jaw down and then do a mouth to mouth. You don't do the head tilt. Okay, this is called tilting of the head. Okay, 3 fingers, friends. This is the sternum for choking on Dinesh we did. Below the sternum, we did the abdominal thrust or the stomach thrust, or it's called the Heimlich maneuver. It's named after the doctor who invented that concept. Okay. So 3 fingers here in CPR, however, it's not below. The 3 fingers here. Can you see this? Sternum. 3 fingers above the sternum, center of the chest, the heel of your palm, not your entire hand, between the nipple line. For the infant alone, it's below the nipple line. Clear? So, okay, an easier way would be to put 3 fingers on your last rib and come to the center. Or another way of doing it is place your hand under your underarm and come to the center. These are easy ways of reaching the right position. Yeah? Because if you're going to sit, and especially when you're doing it on the ground, when we sit and the buttocks are on our heels, when we sit and compress, when you compress like this, there's a greater chance of fracturing, breaking a rib. When you compress like this, it's much lesser. Having said this, whenever people do CPR, they do fracture a rib or 2, but we say keep going, because broken bones would heal. But if you don't do anything, when a rib fractures, you know that their bones are weak or you're giving too much pressure, you automatically reduce pressure, but completely don't stop what you're doing. Yeah? Because otherwise you will lose the victim in a few minutes. Yeah? So, okay. Interlock your fingers, lock your elbows. Looking at the victim's face, we count loudly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. Go back down. It's 2 breaths, 30 chest compressions, 1 cycle. On an average, we need to do 3 cycles in 1 minute. Let's do 2 more cycles. Yeah. So after every breath, we turn and look, just in case the air that you blew in, if it's going to come out, and along with that, if vomit's coming, it's your cheek and not into your mouth. Yeah. When you don't use a barrier. Sometimes people just use their hand. Yeah. 2 breaths, 30 chest compressions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. I'll do my last compression on the ground. It has to be very easy. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, clear people. I counted last in Tamil. That's okay. It doesn't matter. Whichever language you count. In the first time when I counted in tens. Then I counted normally. There are different ways of counting. But what's similar? I count loudly. Yeah, you don't forget easily and you don't make mistakes. How can it help? Someone who doesn't know, on the spot can watch and learn. No matter how good you are, how fit you are, a 10 to 15 minutes of CPR cycles will drain you, emotionally and physically. Yeah. So you need to take a break, you need to take a sip of water. So at that time that person can take it and you can do a 2% CPR. 2 or 3 people, you can take turns till your ambulance reaches the spot. Clear people. Even in the ambulance, it's good to continue CPR. So some of the paramedics, most of the paramedics are trained, but in some ambulances there might be new recruits and the nurse just help shift and they'll have to go sit in front and do the IV and not really do CPR. You as a bystander, any doubts, any questions? Okay, so the child, and yeah, question.
Normally we are told that when you are wearing a helmet,
oh yeah, you can't. Yeah.
you do not remove the helmet until the summer trainers are from.
Exactly. Unless and until it obstructs breathing. So 90 to 95% of the time, never remove helmet. You always say when you sit on a bike, wear a helmet. You sit in a car, buckle up. The point here is many people don't know how to remove the helmet in the right way. So instead of going through the entire procedure and saying inline, immobilization, lateral expansion, 2 people and all, we just say just don't remove the helmet. Max, if you can cut it or you can remove, only if it's obstructing breathing. But then people of the different opinion, what if the head swells up and so on. In that time, they have to literally destruct the helmet, like make it into multiple parts. Like, imagine cut here, but not in an ambulance maybe, but in the trauma care center where they have cutting tools, drilling, everything. That's the right way. So that's because, yeah. Sorry?
How can we do this with the helmet on?
You cannot do mouth to mouth with the helmet on. You will have to remove the helmet or just go for the chest compression. That's all that's required. Yeah?
One more question. So,
yeah.
You said that in taxi we have the riding
gloves.
So we don't need additional gloves. But taxi riding gloves that we have full of sometimes sand, etc. If there's an open wood, is that actually should we actually use that?
No, not really. If it's really dirty, don't put it on an open wound. Considering you don't have a small first aid kit in your backpack and you don't have any other form of protection on you for your hands, something better than nothing, go ahead and use the gloves, no worries. Or if both in one hand is dirty, you just make sure you use that hand over the cleaner glove and that's some jugaad that you could do, nothing else, yeah? Because bare hand compression or worst case scenario, if you still feel your hands are clean better than the glove, remove it because, yeah, but open wound, don't put bare hands, not advised at all. The whole point here is, so coming here, we bring in prioritizing safety. Always remember, your safety is of utmost importance. Second is the bystanders, and last is the accident victim. That's how we always do it. Yeah. But having said that, we as lifeguards, lifeguard trainers, every time we perform a rescue, especially in open water on the beach, we are actually pledging our life. It's a risk. When you read in the paper, 3-4 people drown off Marina or wherever the beaches I come, that day only 1 or 2 people have to drown. But because of friends as a group, those are the ones who went to save and they also ended up losing their life. That's why you always, if you do not respect the sea, do not respect water, is going to take you. The place I come, Chennai, I come from Chennai, Tamil Nadu. Even last week, a kid drowned in a bucket of water. And that kid's mother it was in the play school or the government Palwadi center. See, water comes at a particular point of time. You live in an elevated apartment, water scarcity, you either cover the bucket or you keep the door locked. Kids always love water. You can't blame the kid, right? When the kid need not be fully inside the bucket, you understand, if the head, water enters through the nose and mouth, and many years back the same incident happened. I think very sad, it happened on the day of the kid's birthday. Very, very sad. Imagine birthday, death day, both same, very sad. Mom's cooking, dad's entertaining the guests, and the kid goes into the bathroom after 20 minutes.